Chiefs Kingdom, my name is Jackson Durham. You're watching an at-home edition of the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports, and we're going to break down my instant reactions to the Kansas City Chiefs' enormous win, 30-17 over the Detroit Lions in Week 6 on Sunday Night Football. What a game from Kansas City. I could not be more impressed, more happy with the way the Chiefs showed up tonight against one of the best teams in the NFL. Got a couple reasons why they won this game. Going to break down how I feel about it and two guys that I really feel like stood out in this one as well. So let's go ahead and get right into those three major reasons. Number one, Patrick frickin' Mahomes, man. What a game from number 15. Continues to prove that he is not only the best quarterback in the NFL, but probably the best player in the NFL. Fantastic in this game. 22 for 30 for 257 yards for 3 touchdowns, 30 plus on the ground, and another TD, 4 total touchdowns in this game. And he hit a ton of different guys. How about Travis Kelce stepping up in this game? He's taken a ton of criticism this season. People have said he's looked old this year. He did not look old tonight. And that's something I've consistently pushed back on, is that age is what's holding Travis Kelce back. I feel like it's really just he's had issues communicating with Patrick Mahomes at times this season. They just haven't been on the same page. But tonight they absolutely were. And he showed exactly why I've been pushing back on this. He's continued to have one of his best seasons as a ball carrier. What he's been able to do after the catch, fighting for the hard yards, making people miss. It's been so critical, and it was again tonight. 6 receptions for him for 78 yards. Xavier Worthy, you guys know I'm a huge Xavier Worthy supporter. Not the best game from him, not really his fault in terms of what he was asked to do, just wasn't as much as I would have expected. A little underutilized for Xavier in this one, but nice moments when he did get the ball. We saw him a little bit as a rusher and a little bit as a receiver as well. Juju Smith-Schuster and Hollywood Brown really stepped up in this one. Those guys combined for almost 100 yards. Juju had 3 receptions for 57. Hollywood had over 40 yards and 2 touchdowns. Fantastic game from Hollywood Brown. We're going to talk about him a little bit more later. And Patrick Mahomes drove the success for all of those guys, feeding everybody. Everybody's got to eat. And think about how successful we were. And then think about the fact that we still don't have Rashee Rice back, and we're going to get him back next week. Just really makes you smile as a Chiefs fan. I think we should all just kind of pat ourselves on the back on that one. And if you're hyped about getting Rashee Rice back next week, I want you to go down in the comments and swipe right on them if you're on your mobile device and hype today's video. It really helps us in the YouTube algorithm, pushes the video out to more Chiefs fans, helps us get more real ones in our community, and helps grow our channel. So if you want to support our channel, get down there, swipe right on the comments, and hype today's video. Maybe throw a like on there while you're at it. But let's get back into our discussion of today's game. The double dip was enormous. Another thing that I feel like Patrick Mahomes really fueled in this game. We scored on our last drive of the first half, and we scored on the first possession of the second half, something we've kind of consistently failed to do in these games over the last few weeks, despite the fact that we consistently defer if we win the opening kickoff. Taking advantage of the potential of doing that has been a bit of an issue for us, and we absolutely did tonight, and we got the critical 14-point flip. Something that went against us last week against the Jacksonville Jags. They got their 14-point flip off of a Devin Lloyd pick 6. We get our 14-point flip off of the double dip. Excuse me, that was kind of a tongue twister there. Defense in this one was fantastic. Moving on to reason number 2 why we won this game. Great game from the defense. First drive, wasn't really looking that way, though. First drive had me a little nervous. I'm sure some of you guys were as well. Had me thinking maybe this was going to go a little bit like it did in Jacksonville. Lions opened beautifully in this one with a great rushing attack from Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, as they typically do. Had some big plays to Jamison Williams on the first drive. But then they get in the red zone, and that's where things got hard. That's where our guys tightened up. And we get them in 4th and goal. And a critical illegal formation, a critical error to know the playbook or rule book, on a trick play ends up costing the Lions a touchdown. And I feel like we did a great job of taking advantage of that. That was one of a couple major momentum shift moments for our defense. Number 2, Shout out to Noel Williams, who we're going to talk about a little bit later, for beautiful coverage on Amon-Ra St. Brown on what ended up being a drop. I know he didn't quite get into the right position to make that play, and yes, it was a drop, but he was shadowing him beautifully. Even if Amon-Ra caught that, I don't think he was going to get the first down, and I feel like Noel played a fantastic game, really showed up big time in this one. Number 3, big momentum shift moment for us was the Charles Omenihu sack late in this game that stopped the Lions' drive. That was an attempt to come back. Charles Omenihu ends up coming up with a huge play. Pass rush, which has been an issue for us. Omenihu, who's been scrutinized, he comes up with a big play. And lastly, on the Lions' last chance to kind of get back in this game at all, they go 3 straight incompletions from Jared Goff, who'd been very accurate this season, most accurate quarterback in the NFL. Our passing defense forces 3 straight incompletions. And on the last 2 Lions drives of this game, they have just 5 yards on 7 plays. Fantastic, fantastic game from our defense. And it just kind of reminds me of the fantastic sale that Omaha Steaks has going on, guys, right now. They are in their biggest sale of the year, their early Black Friday sale. It's why I've been taking advantage every time I'm having cookouts, every time I'm having the guys over for watch parties. Just hosted one for OU Texas last weekend. Tough loss for my Sooners, unfortunately, but we had the guys over, and the guys loved eating Omaha Steaks because this stuff is fantastic, guys. And like I said, they're currently in their biggest sale of the year, the early Black Friday sale. And to make the savings even better for you guys, I've got an exclusive deal for our Chiefs Report viewers. The Kingdom's going to get an extra $35 off with promo code CHIEFS at checkout. Everyday dinners and effortless entertaining to unforgettable gifts. Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. Enjoy USDA certified tender steaks, juicy burgers, cozy and convenient comfort meals, and so much more. And save big with Omaha Steaks, guys. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and for an extra 20% off on select favorites during their early Black Friday sale. And for an extra $35 off, guys, you got to use promo code CHIEFS at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com. Promo code CHIEFS at checkout to support the channel. Really helps us out. Big shout out to Omaha Steaks for sponsoring today's video. Let's get into the third reason why I think we won this game. Got to talk about Jalen Moore's performance in this one. A little bit of an underrated storyline. I don't know how many of you guys are aware of it. I know our subscribed members with notifications on are definitely aware of it because we put out a couple of shorts today. But Jalen Moore had to step in for Josh Simmons. He was dealing with a personal issue tonight, and I know they hinted at it on the broadcast. We don't have any details on that. I'm not going to speculate on what's going on with Josh Simmons. I am going to send best wishes to him, whatever he's dealing with. Hope he can get it sorted out soon and hope that everything's okay for him. But it's great to know that when you have situations come up like that, when you have injuries come up on the offensive line, potentially down the line, you have a guy like Jalen Moore backing up Josh Simmons and Jawan Taylor, especially on the right side of the line, and he's fantastic. And what was supposed to be a huge test for Josh Simmons, we talked about this in the preview, that this was going to be an enormous game for Josh Simmons to really prove himself against one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, a top 5 guy at the position, a defensive player of the year candidate in Aiden Hutchinson. Instead, that responsibility falls to Jalen Moore, and I was a little bit nervous about how that was going to go. But Moore was absolutely fantastic. Phenomenal game from him. He stifled Hutchinson. He needed help at times, as everybody would. Going one-on-one with Aiden Hutchinson would be absolute insanity. But even when we did have him one-on-one, I feel like he held his water. We didn't have him that way consistently, but when he did, he was very good. And I think it's a testament to how good Aiden Hutchinson is. The one play he gets one-on-one with Noah Gray, he drives him all the way back into Patrick Mahomes and forces a fumble. That's the kind of guy that Jalen Moore, who hasn't played much at all this season, had to go up against pretty much all night in his first game as a Kansas City Chief, and he was excellent. Absolutely great game from Jalen Moore. Cannot say enough about how critical that performance was, how much time he was able to buy Patrick Mahomes. And that was a huge part of the success that Mahomes had, the success that we talked about in our first reason, because Patrick Mahomes was phenomenal tonight. The entire passing offense was phenomenal tonight. Rushing game had its moments as well, and Jalen Moore was a part of all of that. He's definitely a stud from this game. Two other guys that I want to talk about, though. Noel Williams. Welcome back, Noel Williams. Just 4 snaps for Noel Williams against the Jacksonville Jags. Saw some other snaps on special teams. And his absence in the secondary absolutely showed up last week. They just didn't look like the same group last week against Jacksonville as they did tonight. I was getting texts from guys I work with at Chat Sports. What's up with the Kansas City Chiefs defense tonight? They look so much better than they did last week against Jacksonville. And I would respond to every single one of them. It's number 20. It's Noel Williams. He was back in rotation tonight, and the job he did against Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was trading off a little bit with Trent McDuffie, who covered him when he went in the slot. Fantastic work. We talked about that 4th and 2. He had some other big plays against him as well. Allowed a reception, but quickly shut him down on a 3rd down. Fantastic game from Noel Williams. The young corner continues to look like a huge part of Kansas City's future. Could not be more excited about him. And number 2, the other big stud from this game, this guy continues to have a great year. Hollywood Brown, man. He's one of the unsung heroes of this team. He had a number of huge catches tonight. Big first down on a toe tap grab along the sideline, and then 2 touchdowns as well. Just continuing an excellent season for him. And I want to give him props because I feel like he stepped up when things were really hard this season. When we didn't have Xavier Worthy, when it was really just him and Travis Kelce out there trying to make things work with Tyquan Thornton. And he did, and he continues to be a huge part of this offense, even getting Xavier back into rotation, even Travis Kelce getting things back on track. Hollywood hasn't gone away. Juju also continuing to play really well. We're going to talk more in depth about tonight's game. I'm all over the place right now. We're going to talk more in depth about tonight's game tomorrow when I have some rest and can get my thoughts cleared. And we're going to go over some winners and losers from this game, some more in-depth takeaways. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that one, Chiefs Kingdom, and I will see you guys then. Let's go, Chiefs. Enormous, enormous win.